Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. So we have a good gathering here and we're really happy to be in your association. And it's a nice place to be and discuss Krishna consciousness. So though we will take questions, both of us will answer from little different angles. He'll support me and I'll be supporting him. So is that microphone can go up there? Is it possible?
You want a microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can give you this one.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so it's a very nice venue. This venue was established by a few people, and some of the people that I've known and lived in my area, Anil Sukla and Ved Prakash, Sujata. They were involved in this kind of projects, and incidentally, Mr. Ved Prakash said that we should, all societies should use this venue to preach the message of God. And we are here today preaching the message of God. So I could just read a verse from Bhagavad Gita. I'll read a verse and then we'll take some questions. And then we will have it a two-way thing, a discussion. If anything that's disturbing you spiritually, you could ask. We will try to answer to the best of our abilities. Okay, let's just check. What did I read? Something short, okay. Now let's read this verse. I envy no one. Asamaham sarve bhuteshu name dveshva astina priya. Yavajanti tu mamavatya maya chesu chapiyaham. I envy no one, nor I am partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. One may question that if Krishna is equal to everyone, and no one is his special friend, then why does he take special interest in the devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental service? But this is not discrimination. It is natural. Any man in this material world may be very charitably disposed, yet he has a special interest in his own children. The Lord claims that every living entity, in whatever form, is his son, and so he provides everyone with a generous supply of necessities of life. He is just like a cloud which pours rain all over, regardless of whatever it falls on the rock or land or water. But for his devotees, he gives specific attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. They are always in Krishna consciousness, and therefore they are always transcendently situated in Krishna. The very phrase Krishna consciousness suggests that those who are in such consciousness are living transcendentalists, situated in Him. The Lord says, He says here distinctly, Mayite, they are in me. Naturally, as a result, the Lord is also in them. This is reciprocal. This is also explains the word Yeyatamam Prabhajante Tamstateva Bhajamyaham. Whoever surrenders unto me proportionately, I take care of him. This transcendental reciprocation exists both the Lord and the devotee. unconscious. When a diamond is set in a gold ring, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified, and at the same time the diamond is glorified. The Lord and the living entity eternally glitter. And when a living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, he looks like gold. The Lord is a diamond, and so this combination is very nice. Living entities in a pure state are called devotees. The Supreme Lord becomes the devotee of his devotees. If a reciprocal relationship is not present between the devotee and the Lord, then there is no personalist philosophy. In the impersonalist philosophy, there is no reciprocation between the Supreme Lord and the living entity. But in the personalist philosophy, there is. The example is often given that the Lord is like a desire tree, and whatever one wants from the desire tree, the Lord supplies. But here the explanation is more complete. The Lord is here stated to be partial to the devotees. This is the manifestation of the Lord's special mercy to the devotees. The Lord's reciprocation should not be considered to be under the law of karma. It belongs to the transcendental situation in which the Lord and his devotees function. Devotional service to the Lord is not an activity of this material world. It is part of the spiritual world where eternity, bliss, and knowledge predominate. So the verse again, I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So what do you think of this verse? This is from the Bhagavad Gita 9 chapter, text 29.
Lord Krishna is telling us our relationship with him. We can be a friend or we can be the opposite, but he's inviting us now to do devotional service and be his friend.
Comment?
Yeah. Prabhupada is explaining, even the Lord is explaining in the verse that he is equal to everybody. But if we take shelter in him, then he takes special care for us. Prabhupada explained that he is taking care of all the living entities, not only us, right? But because we are taken to the process that he has given to us, Krishna consciousness of Bhakti Yoga, then he takes special care for us. He, within the heart, will actually guide us through other Vaishnavas even, how to practice so we can come closer to him and our relationship with him becomes even more refined to the point that eventually you'll be able to speak to him directly. That's the advanced stage. Right now we cannot hear the Lord, we can hear our minds, right? So because we are in the starting stage, we need to go to the advanced stage.
Yeah, that's good. There's a verse that in the 4th chapter that was mentioned in the purport. As all surrender unto me, I reward him accordingly. Everyone follow my path in all respects. And here Krishna is saying that, in whichever way you surrender to me, he reciprocates with you accordingly. And Prabhupada in the purport writes that everyone, or Krishna says, everyone is following his path. Even whether somebody is following other paths, it's still Krishna's path. Therefore you find in Hindu community they will say, all is one so big and everything goes to the same sea. Isn't it? You hear this very often. But he reciprocates accordingly whatever path is chalked out for you. So therefore you find materialistic people become more wealthy. And then you wonder why, but I'm worshipping Krishna and he's not giving me all this. But Krishna is a very intelligent person. He'll give you things that you need, not the things that you want. He's very intelligent because he doesn't want to entangle you. So he gives you things that you need. Comment on that. Okay. So I'm just checking. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask on this topic? We want to keep it open. We want to make it a two-way discussion. Anybody thought of anything or would like to ask? Yes.
So you mean I think
use
you
that
read
mic.
earlier.
You can use that microphone
I
because
think
it's
you
connected.
read earlier in proportion. He looks after you in the same in the same proportion as what you the sort of effort you make is the effort sort of he makes.
Repeat that.
I said as far as I understood what you read earlier, is he looks after you in the same proportion than what you worship him. Is that sort of?
That's true. It reciprocates accordingly any area of, say for example, and I will read it from here. It says, let me read this so we become more clear, that verse that was quoted. Everyone is searching for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestations. Got it? Everybody. So that's why I made that point. He said, Krishna, the Supreme Person of God, is partially realized by his impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgent as the all-pervading supersoul dwelling within everyone, including the particles of atom. So Krishna is in everything. He's even in the atom. Ananta Paramanu Chayantarasta. It's, God as the Paramatma is also in the atom. So it's in every aspect of creation. So there's different levels of realization of God. The first realization that we read, it was like Brahma Jyoti. Now, Brahma Jyoti means the effulgence that is emanating from God. But it's not God, it's his effulgence, it's his energy. So if somebody is wanting to become one with God, then he enters that effulgence. Get it? But he doesn't go to the kingdom of God. But he enters that effulgence. It's not spiritual, but the soul by nature is active. But because he wants to become one with God, he becomes one with the energy of God, and he's not active. Not active in the sense that he cannot reciprocate with God. He's just dormant. So after the time, because the soul by nature is active, then it has to leave that place and come back down. After many millions of lifetimes, he comes back down. And then starts again, and then he may go up back there again and then come back down. But when he realizes the super soul, that God is a super soul, then he goes to another spiritual planet which is in this universe. It's called Dhruvaloka, or the pole star. That's where he goes. When he realizes the super soul, he goes to the pole star. Got it? He doesn't go back straight away to Goloka Vrindavana Vaikuntha. He goes to the pole star. It's a planet in the material world, but it's spiritual. It's destroyed when there's total annihilation, and then everybody leaves to go back to Vaikuntha. You got it clear? Then the next aspect is talking about, but Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Krishna as a supreme master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally according to their different intensities of love for him. Is it more clear now? More clear? Yeah. In the material world, the same reciprocation of feeling are there, and they are equally exchanged by the Lord with the different types of worshippers. So it depends, Like to comment on that? The fire relationship? Okay. Anybody else would like to ask anything? That was a good question. Anyone
I
else?
actually have one more.
Yes, you can ask. He's going to answer that.
I just always wondered about the sort of permanent nature of the chanting. Because what we found is, for example, we became very close to Krishna, and then COVID came, and for 2 years we barely had any association. In that 2 years, we, how can I say, sort of fell a little bit, off the, so what I was wondering is the chanting and it's the permanent nature of it, it seemed to be sort of, is it only up to a point where it's quite sort of, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, sort of impermanent, and then, sorry, you're going to answer. And then it becomes sort of cellular. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, like where it becomes a solidified,
consistent
state that you sort of in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so that's a very good question. So there's the starting point when you first start chanting, and then there's the advanced stage of chanting. So we have to recognize and understand that we are beginners, and the stage where we begin can actually last for a long time. It all depends on the enthusiasm, the determination, and the steadfastness of the practitioner, whether he is willing to be patient enough to wait for the mercy to come as well. And you find that if you're enthusiastic, then the mercy is not far away, because Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness is such a sublime process that one can experience happiness in the beginning stage. You'll experience happiness in the nice prasadam. You practice properly and don't make offenses amongst each other, then the process becomes more nicer, tasty. When we become materialistic amongst each other and fight and do all these things, then Krishna consciousness will become distasteful. It will become a poison. You see the devotee will run away. It's like that. Because why? We are coming into the transcendental process with a materialistic attitude. So our advancement is actually dependent on our attitude. How we relate to the world, the people, and each other. Because if we apply the same mindset that we have in the material world, and then your progress is going to be extremely slow. It'll even pause at some time. So, I just want to read something for you regarding that. You have to understand that there are obstacles that we have to overcome. There are certain obstacles that we have to overcome. Where is this? There are actually 5 obstacles that Madhurya kind of mean. Let me see. Oh, I got it. Okay, this is extremely scientific. And if you want to understand how you have to progress, then you can recognize these aspects that you are actually struggling with. Right? The first one is called laya. Laya is the weakness of being more soporific during hearing about the Lord than while chanting His names, and more soporific while remembering Lord Hari than during hearing about Him. So this means that when you hear Krishna conscious katha or transcendental topics related to Lord Krishna, or when you're chanting, you fall asleep, become drowsy, you become lazy. You notice when you first start chanting, you start yawning a lot. That's because we are still on the material platform and we're getting exhausted. Because the chanting is actually a transcendental process. It's actually elevating you. So that means that one obstacle that one has to overcome, he has to be free from laya, laziness or drowsiness and sleep. Especially while chanting, one becomes disinterested in the topics. You just want the topic, the speaker to stop speaking about. It's like that, so part of you become sleepy. The next one is called Vikshepa. It means he's talking or thinking about mundane nonsense during devotional activities such as hearing or chanting. Sometimes devotees engage in devotional activities, but they talk about materialistic things. It's because we are so attached to our past habits that we even speak about it. Mundane songs, Bollywood songs, all these things, materialistic things. Is it good or bad? Actually, you shouldn't put yourself down as well. The fact that you have these difficulties or bad habits, you shouldn't even put yourself down. You should try and see this is wrong, but how can I improve myself? Because why? When you start finding faults with your own self, it can also be an obstacle. Because you don't progress even, because you are also against your own self. Like the world is against you and you against yourself. So that doesn't help you. So you have to seek association which is compassionate. Always look for association which is much more advanced than you. Because otherwise your association is not going to lift you up. Always look for devotees who are more advanced than you and see how they can help you. The next one is called Apratipati. Is when both Laya and Vikshepa are absent. By that time, one still feels incapable of or disinterested in hearing, chanting, and so on. So at least the first two is not there, but still, the contamination still exists. And one is still disinterested in hearing and chanting about the Lord. So we have to overcome these things. You can only overcome it from a superior association. You have to approach a devotee who has taste for chanting. You see, like how he was chanting in the beginning? It's not easy to have enthusiasm like that every week, right? But you can get that enthusiasm from the devotees who have it. And even they will catch you off guard when you're not in the mood. But the thing is that mood that you're not in a mood, that's a materialistic consciousness. You have to get out of it. They are helping you. Even if you have to force yourself to get into the kirtan, it will be helpful for you because the ruchi will come. And then, the next stage, the fourth one is called kashaya. It's defined as the tendency to display such faults as anger, greed, and arrogance during devotional activities. Like sometimes the devotee is engaging in service. Haribol, Prabhu, I'm busy. I'm doing something else. But you're angry. You're disinterested, right? Anger, greed. Sometimes you take more prasadam than you can even eat sometimes, right? We have this habit. I mean, we all are guilty, right? We see the sweet there. We take sweet, but eventually you realize, hey, I can't finish this thing. So that can be greed as well. We should have greed for chanting, an association of advanced devotees. And then, arrogance, disrespectful amongst devotees. This is some things we have to be careful. And you know what? We have seen this. We have seen this. We had such good groups of devotees, Namahachas, such potent devotees, so much of talent, but they can all split apart because we become arrogant. But these are materialistic qualities. We have to be careful when we associate with devotees, especially if you want to achieve a higher goal or a higher purpose, right? Then the last one is called rasa vada. Means that the mind is so attached to sense pleasure, often meditating on it, that he is unable to hear or chant with concentration. Because if you chant with concentration continuously, without any disturbance, as you said, how can I get to that? That's called Nishtha. That Nishtha platform, it basically means this, that the material energy, or Maya, she's at a distance away. She's no more so close. She's at a distance away, that means she's no more such a disturbance to your consciousness. So we have to try and get to Nishtha at least. That means we have to try and get to that stage where I am concentrating every mantra. This takes a lot of practice, but it also takes that you have to become enthusiastic and greedy for hearing. Wherever there's a Krishna Katha going on amongst the devotees of Srila Prabhupada, you should make an opportunity to go and hear and see how you can help this movement grow, because then you'll have the taste for continuously chanting.
Very good answer. It's going from a very advanced book. You satisfied?
Very, thank you.
Very thank you. Anybody else would like to ask anything?
I think just talking to Mataji's question, it just shows how important association is.
Yeah.
Like that lack of association can cause you to slip. And then Prabhupada said, fake it till you make it. So,
Yeah. The real association is like when you reveal your mind to the devotees. That's a real association. We can physically meet each other, but still that may be just physical meeting, but it has some benefits. But more so is to reveal your, like you just asked the question, that you reveal your heart, that you have these challenges, and sometimes you are, see, it's also there because those are called, see, it's like when one receives the seed, like you receive that seed of devotional kripa, and then it gets planted into the heart. Then a sapling comes up, and as that sapling is very, very weak, the sapling is weak, but alongside it there's some weeds around the sapling. So what it is doing, it's when you are watering, and the watering is considered to be the chanting of Hare Krishna. When you are watering the seed, means you're chanting Hare Krishna, you're watering it. But it's growing. But the weeds are also growing. Both are there. So the weeds is growing, you must be expert to pull those weeds out. And those weeds are considered to be like diplomatic behavior, fame, importance, those kind of qualities. Diplomatic behavior is not good. Fame, looking for fame, those are like subtle, kind of more subtle. So if you're looking for those type of things, those are unwanted creepers. So that actually chokes the plant. And as the plant now shrivels and it's like in one sense dead. So it dies off. But then slowly when you get maybe walking around town, the devotees chanting, then the watching starts again, and then you have attraction again. So it'll be like that, even when you're in an advanced stage, also it's quite dangerous when one is looking for name, fame, importance, and diplomatic behavior. These are subtle, these are more subtle, and that chokes the plant. So then one loses that taste for chanting. And another thing is, see, when you're chanting, it's like Prabhupada gave the example that if you, like this carpet got dirt in it. Now, if I'm cleaning the carpet, the dust will come out. Should I stop cleaning the carpet? I should still clean it up because I'm doing the right thing. So similarly, when you're cleaning your mind by the chanting of Hare Krishna, so it'll all come up, but you continue with it, so it gets cleansed. Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you, Krishna. Yes. Can you talk about it?
Sure.
Hare Krishna, Guru, with that topic, what comes to my mind is a verse in Karma Yoga 3:28 regards the false ego. When we have obstacles in Krishna consciousness, would you more enlighten us on that?
328, you said that?
Yes, Prabhu.
328 of Bhagavad Gita. Third chapter, text 28. This is talking about one who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, Almighty Arm, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the difference between work in devotion and the work for fruitive results. Around us.
326, I think.
329 also, 326, 326.
Prakriti Kriyamana.
Yeah, that's 329. Prakriti Kriyamana is 227. Yeah. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, think himself doer of the activities that are in actuality carried out by the modes of material nature. You're the Bhagavad Gita.
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. So, Prabhupada says in the beginning, two persons, one in Krishna consciousness and the other in material consciousness, right? Working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference in their respective positions. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He says, I did this, I did that, I am good at it, I am the best, you should get me to do it. Right? The person in, right, he does not know that the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. Like the story goes with Arjuna. Arjuna was fighting on the battle of Kurukshetra. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to him, and he empowered Arjuna to fight. When he empowered Arjuna, Arjuna was fighting so valiantly. He was fighting people who could have killed him easily, like Bhishma, Drona. He was fighting Karna. Some say that Karna was a greater archer than him, right? But he by Krishna's mercy, he eventually overcame Karna, because Karna's wheel got stuck in the ground. He jumped off his chariot to pick his wheel up, and then Krishna said, now. Listen, Krishna, but this will be unfair. And Krishna says, they unfairly killed your son. So now. So like that. So Arjuna did so many wonderful things. But at the end, when he went, when Yudhishthira Maharaj said, there is so much of inauspicious I can see in this world, bad omens. Arjuna, please go and see. Maybe Krishna has left this planet. Please go and confirm. Go to Dwaraka and confirm. When Arjuna went there, he has seen that everybody has left this world. And he has also seen that Krishna's 16,108 wives were left helpless. So he had to rescue them. But on his way, bringing them back to Hastinapur, he came across coward men. Coward men are not Kshatriyas, right? They are not fighters. But they easily defeated Arjuna and took away all those wives. So Arjuna was thinking, what's the use of a gun? This is the same Gandiva bow. This is the same Arjuna. Everything is the same, but still, I was impotent. But obviously, it is also mentioned that those coward men were expansions of Krishna. They were all because Krishna's internal energy, his wives, nobody can touch them. It's explained. Like not even Ravan touched Sita. He touched the shadow. He didn't touch Sita because Sita is Krishna's or Ram's internal potency. Materialistic persons cannot even see, how to speak of touch. Right? So like that. So these two persons are working in Krishna consciousness, right? One has understood that I am working under Krishna's direction. The other one is thinking that he is doing, right? And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Arjuna, I am directing your senses on the battlefield. Rishikesh, I am directing your senses. So your senses is working under my direction. The materialistic people, they are working under Krishna's direction as well. But they're working with a false ego. Whereas the devotee is working under Krishna's direction, but they're working under the internal potency. So both are actually, even the materialistic person, although he's trying to work independently, he's not fully independent. Because he's working under the material energy. He's directed by the molds of material nature. Like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, just expanding on that point, just to expand on it a little. You know, when you go to, because you're talking about the false ego, the living entity. And when you go to like the fifth chapter, it kind of more clarifies that subject matter. It says, when the embodied living entity, living being, controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. So he's talking about the living entity that's residing in the body. And the next verse he expands on it. He said, the embodied spirit, master of the city of this body, meaning we are the master of this body, does not create activities. Listen carefully. Does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act. Nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. So we blame it on the modes. It's not me, it's the modes. Oh, I don't know. The modes of nature. So therefore you shift the blame on the modes. But then he goes on further. Then who controls the modes of nature? Who controls it? It's the super soul. Controls the modes of nature. So then the responsibility to shift to the super soul. You start blaming, no, it's not me, God made me do this. You get it? And it says, nor does the Supreme Lord assumes anyone sinful or biased activities. Embodied beings like us, that means us, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers the real knowledge. So then in the purport, Prabhupada explains, and this is in the next verse. So in this verse now, I'm talking about the super soul. So from the modes of nature, the living entity, then we got the living entity, the modes of material nature, the super soul. 3 aspects. So we're shifting the blame on each person. But then in that verse, when we get back to the verse, let's get back to the verse 5:15. It says, and you read, and that would answer all your questions. That we're acting on, nor does the Supreme Lord assumes one's sinful or biased activities. So whatever you do, he's not assuming you're sinful or biased. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered. But because they're bewildered, and because of their ignorance, it covers that knowledge. So they act in that particular way. In that false ego. Because if you are pure ego, see, false ego means you have a material body. But when you think you're the body, that's false ego. When you think you're the soul within the body, that's pure ego. Your spirit soul. So like that. So I'll read this purport. It'll clear your doubt. The Sanskrit word Vibhu means Supreme Lord, who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, and renunciation. Let us skip a little. A living entity is by superior nature full of knowledge. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by ignorance due to his limited power. Is it true? Right? The Lord is omnipotent, but the living entity is not. The Lord is omniscient, but the living entity is unknown, atomic, it's small, it's right? Because he is a living soul, he has the capacity to desire by his free will. Do you agree with that? The person has his free will. So because he has a free will, then Prabhupada speaks about desire. Such desire is fulfilled by the omnipotent Lord. And so when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But the Lord is never responsible for the action, the reaction of a particular situation which may be desired. Is that okay? That is clear now, right? So then it said, being in that bewildered condition, therefore the embodied soul identify himself with the circumstantial material body and become subjected to temporary misery and happiness of life. The Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma. So the Paramatma is there and it's overseeing your activities. And whatever you're desiring is fulfilled. And it says the Lord fulfills the desire as he deserves. Man proposes, God disposes. Right? So you desire. So everything is based on your desire. And desire is a subtle form of conditioning of the living entity. So then you'll blame your desire. But it's your desire. So Krishna is fulfilling that desire. Whether it's right or wrong, he fulfills both. Got it? So he fulfills the desire. And then it says here, and it says the living entity is completely dependent in his distress and happiness. By the will of the Supreme, he can go to heaven or hell as a cloud is driven by the air. And the other one, it says the Lord engages the living entity in pious activities so that he may be elevated. The Lord engages him in impious activity so that he may go to hell. So both are there. Is it clear now? Is it much more clear? Please? Okay. Anybody else? Can you use that microphone?
I can speak a little bit loud.
No. We have to capture you on that.
Okay. So this is how I'm figuring it out from all what you said. That
Put it on.
Okay. From all what you said is if you follow Bhagavad Gita to the T, Krishna is telling you what to desire and how to desire it. His instructions. You follow it correctly, you got no problem. But when you got your own style, like in this material world, I experienced it firsthand. Everything you do is like a snake and ladder game. You're up and you're down. You're up and you're down. And I experienced it firsthand. I went very old. I desired a lot of things. I almost got there. Never made it. But a lot of my friends put half the effort and they were rocketed right at the top. I saw this, I realized this when I read Bhagavad Gita. I surrendered. So,
What's your question then?
no,
Your comment.
I'm just commenting. Telling you.
That's a good comment.
Yeah, so life on this earth.
You see why your friends made it and you didn't get it? Because you didn't have that punya, that piety to get it. It's not that you can just, even if you desire it, but you may not have that piety to acquire it.
No, I realized that 10 people will want something, 5 will get it. The other 5 didn't get it because previous life you did that and that and that, you didn't deserve it.
Yeah,
So you didn't get it. So that is why now I surrender. I said, material life, I must move in another direction towards Krishna.
Thank you very much. That's nice.
Tired,
Please carry on.
tired, because it's the same thing. You're going round in circles. You'll be born, you'll crawl, people love you, carry beautiful baby, then you start walking, then you go to primary school, high school, then you go university, you'll succeed, don't succeed,
Then the snake will bite you.
then someone will tell you, you're gonna, now you have to get married, then the khichdi khawai, the bhat khawai, the midakai, it's a continuous cycle. I thought about it, like, no, I want to get out of it.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good desire.
Out of it, finish.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare
The snake will bite you, but just be careful.
Krishna.
Because the snake is like an envious creature. You can kill a snake. When you see a snake, you can kill it. When you kill it, it actually gets a higher life form after that. So you can kill a snake and a scorpion. So it gets a higher form of life. So if you don't want to be bitten by a snake, then you must go around Govardhan Hill. When you do Govardhan Hill Parikrama. But also in the scripture is mentioned that you see a snake can be controlled by the charmer, snake charmer. In India there's a lot of snake charmers, they can control the snakes. But human being you can't control. These type of snakes you cannot control. Yeah, it's difficult to control them. But mantras you can control the snake. There's a science behind it, how they control it. Sometimes all of a sudden they'll open the basket and show you, hey, there's this thing, Nag Baba, But meanwhile, they want some money and then you have to give some money to make you dance and sing. Move around and by the music.
Okay, earlier you were talking about something in this, that Mataji spoke about chanting and all that.
Yeah.
This is my personal experience. You know that Prabhu Bilwa Mangal,
Yeah.
I live near the temple in Chatsuk. I should never go there. Just once in a while, just go pray, don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Just go, it's a temple, you go pray. And he used to always tell me, hey man, what's wrong with you? You come right past the Lord and you can't even stop your van for 5 minutes. I was thinking, this fellow is mad. This devotee is mad. But as I said, after I read Bhagavad Gita, after all the problems, I cannot explain to you what happened in my head.
Yeah.
But I think now I'm more mad than most of the devotees, mad about Krishna.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody else would like to do this?
One question.
Oh, probably.
I know when Prabhupada was in India, the place where he stayed was infested by mosquitoes. And the devotees asked him whether they could kill the mosquitoes, and he said, no, we don't kill them. Now the place where we are staying, there are a lot of pests. There are a lot of pests like flies, ants and so on. Is it okay to use insecticides to get rid of these pests?
Well, the thing is, you have to, if the mosquitoes is biting you or taking blood out of you, then you can kill it. Probably you could consider that. But it's not a good thing, like living entities to kill living entities, because you get reaction for it.
Yeah.
Now one time Srila Prabhupada was in some part of America, and there was cockroaches. And there's a company, the company came and then I want to spray the whole of, the apartments, different apartments, and they were in one apartment. And then they were spraying, and all those cockroaches started running to his apartment. So he said, just see how the cockroaches take shelter of Krishna consciousness. He didn't want them killed. He said, don't spray his apartment.
Yeah.
So the thing is, there is some reaction when like even some rats were in some part of, probably in London or something. And Prabhupada, maybe not London, even in America, in India, he said no, because you see that the rats are coming because our heart is not clean. See, when you cleanse your heart, then these kind of living species, that are dangerous species, or So they won't come. They won't come. Because if you see even they won't even attack. Like even sadhus are not attacked in the forest. But there's lions, tigers and things in the forest. They're not attacked because their hearts are cleansed. So the animals know that this person is a pure person. So there are different considerations, but there is definitely some reaction. You can do it, but it's like really affecting your Krishna consciousness to that extent. Then maybe do it, but there is still some reaction. Is that okay?
Yeah, and I think at the moment there is a cockroach pandemic in South Africa. I don't know if anybody's heard about that.
Cockroach what?
In South Africa at the moment. Did anybody hear about that? Yeah.
So there's a lot of cockroaches, huh?
A lot of cockroaches.
So the government can take some steps to clear them off. That they'll get reaction. The president will get reaction.
No, as far as possible, I try not to harm even an ant. But sometimes it's not really possible to.
Yes, I mean it's really easy
to do that.
Yeah, it's harmful to such extent.
Because sometimes I do my own washing. I wash my own
Okay,
dishes.
yeah.
Sometimes, not always. And some ants somehow the other get onto the sink. So I take a piece of tissue and I try to drive them out. Not all of them, I'm not able to get rid of all of them, but some of them do die in the process. And that worries me a bit.
That's
As you
it's
said,
good. It's good.
you will what do you call, get some kind of.
Yeah, but get some reaction because see, but a devotee, if he's like 10% surrendered, he don't get any reaction. It's just like a devotee may walk on the grass, he's a pure devotee. And he walks on the grass, there's an ants, and the ants may get killed also. And walking on the grass, even Prabhupada was not very happy with that because the living entities, the grass, you're putting your foot on it. He was not happy with that either. You're causing pain to the grass. But when devotees are chanting, that the grass and all this, the trees, they're hearing actually, the chanting. So they're elevated. They get elevation, by hearing the chanting. Yeah, because trees also have life. You see how a tree is like, it branches off. If some place is like, it's like a kind of obstacle to the tree, so it like turns in another direction and it grows around and it can figure that out. It's consciousness.
It is consciousness.
Yeah.
But it's not possible to avoid that, so to speak. In the morning I go into the yard and I pick up flowers, for offering.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
You have to do that, so it's
And
okay.
then sometimes you have to trim the plants as well.
So your activities, when you become purer, then it's no reaction because you do everything for Krishna and nothing for me. See? It's like that, everything for Krishna and nothing for me. So everything is done in relation to Krishna, then there will be no real reaction. But it must really be done with that consciousness, that pure consciousness, that I'm doing everything for Krishna. Yeah.
So the karmic reaction is minimal.
It's minimal, because you see in the material world you must get reactions. And the thing is, there in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 4th chapter, it is said that you cannot understand how the laws of karma work. And people, even intelligent people can't understand. And this Lord Krishna is saying, in the 4th chapter, even the intelligence are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all this misfortune. So even intelligent people are bewildered on how the law of karma works. Sometimes, people, they all of a sudden, they may have offended you a week ago, and then after a week, they may have an accident or something. You say, good, see that fellow, that's what he did because he offended. But that's not how it works. Isn't it? You say, good. But that's not the way it works. You know, but you have to understand that this is working, even the intelligent are bolded. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. So, but you know, yeah, so we can't specifically say that you're getting a reaction because of that. Yeah, but we do, get some reaction because even like the story of Vidul, I think, when he pierced the lance,
As Yamaraj.
Yamaraj, yeah. Yamaraj. He came like this, Vidula. Yeah, even Yamaraj, got some reaction. So there's chances of us getting reactions. So be careful.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We got a question. We do yeah.
I got something to say.
Oh no, then we're going to give somebody who has a question. You can say it after anybody has a question. You have any question? Anybody? You can listen to you. Okay.
Okay, I was reading one of the books, I don't remember which one, where Prabhupada says if there's something living in your house, even if it's a snake, you mustn't kill it. And if it needs food, you must feed it. So,
Yeah.
in the room where I sleep, I've got geckos running around, I've got cockroaches and big buggers. They're big. And I feed them. I don't know. I am that kind. And
So now it's good that you're feeding them prasadam and they're staying there.
Yes.
It's
Many years back, we had a problem with rats. My house in Chatsworth. My mother said, no, I'm going to buy a trap those rats. So I made a special trap, caught them live, and then she saw me taking those rats and growing. She asked me, what you doing? I said, no, I'm going to leave them down in the bush. She's telling me, you need to get your head checked. Something wrong with you. I just laughed, but I can't keep.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
I can't do it.
Like at our temple, we have frogs, a lot of frogs. So in the night, at 10, 11 in the night, we're catching frog because it's disturbing the Swami who's sleeping. So we catch the frog and we leave it by the post office, behind the post office. We're catching a whole lot of frogs in the night. For months on end, the COVID time and all that. We're catching them in the night, about 10, 11 in the night, we catch them, make big noise. It's like an orchestra there.
With that amount of water you got there, you will get frogs.
Yeah.
Must.
We got a lot of frogs, yeah. And then you take them and leave them in the morning.
The frogs eat the mosquitoes, so don't get rid of them.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very, very powerful. This whole process is very powerful. Krishna consciousness. You can see this very interesting. Anybody want to ask anything else? Mother, do you have any questions or comments?
Rose, Mataji, any question for me?
Anybody else?
I
Yes.
was going to ask something about chanting.
Yeah.
Now, if you read like 10 rounds of the day,
Right.
now you can't do it one time. What happens that you stop and then you start again? Is that possible?
You chanting 10 rounds.
Yeah.
No, yeah, not a month. You can break it up.
You can break
You
it.
break it up. So if I chant like 5 in the morning,
Very
then
good.
I can, because of work purpose, then I have to continue again. And I don't leave the chanting halfway. I complete the round.
That's good. You can chant 4 rounds before every meal. So you may think about, before I eat, I must chant 4 rounds. So when you do that, then when morning you chant 4, when you're having lunch, you'll be 8 rounds. When you come home, it'll be 12 rounds when you take your supper. And after supper, you can chant. Yes.
With regards to the Mataji's inquiry, Krishna says that it's for our benefit. supreme instruction, what you just added, keeping to the process. 1864.
The 1864 is talking about. Well, I'll pull it up. Okay. What you're saying, now we got it here. Because you're my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, it is for your benefit. But 65 talks about always think of me. Manmane bhava bhakto madhyaje namaskuru. Mame vasi satyate pratijanu yesame. Always think of me. Become my devotee, worship me. Always. But you can break it up. It's fine. Anything else? We'll have 2 years, 1938. We'll just take 5 minutes more. Is this a better way of having discussion? It's much better than it is without. Anything else?
I want to know if Ram was an expansion of Krishna, or was it Krishna himself with another name appearing earlier in Satyayuga?
It's explained that Krishna. Okay, so the Srimad Bhagavatam affirms that Krishna stu Bhagavan Swayam. There are many incarnations of the personality of Godhead. Like there are many candles. You have one original candle that you light, right? And you can light many other candles, but there is one original candle. So Srimad Bhagavatam affirms that Krishna is the original. And all the other incarnations, plenary incarnations, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, they are all expansions of Swayam Bhagavan, Sri Krishna. Even Narayan, Vishnu, they all are expansions of Krishna. This only the Vaishnavas know, if they read the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana. It's the purest Purana. And it explains everything that you want to know about the Supreme Lord. Like there are Puranas that say that Narayan is the original. But the ultimate Purana is Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's what we have to accept. Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam.
One question in the back.
I just want to explain. I'll read from the 9th canto what he explained. Being prayed by the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, himself directly appeared with his expansion and the expansions of his expansion. Their holy names were Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrugna, the 4 brothers. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in 4 forms as the son of Maharaj Dasarath. And in the purport, it said here that Lord Ramachandra and his brother Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrugna are all Vishnu Tattvas, not Jiva Tattva, meaning not a living person, ordinary person. The Supreme Personality of God expands into many, many forms. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anandam, Anantarupam. Although they are one and the same, Vishnu Tattva has many forms and incarnations, as confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Ramadi Murtisyu Kalaniyamena Tishtan. The Lord is situated in many forms such as Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrugna. And these forms may exist in any part of his creation. All these forms exist permanently, eternally, as the individual personalities of Godhead, and they resemble many candles, as he was talking about, all equally powerful. Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrugna, who being Vishnu Tattva, are all equally powerful. Became the sons of Maharaj Dasarath in response to prayers by the demigods. Is it okay? Answer the question.
Yeah, Balaram and Lakshman, are they the same? Or is Lakshman also an expansion of Balaram?
Well, see, and there's a whole history. Anyway, we don't get into the history of it. But Balaram and Lakshman, yes. Like you say, Balaram, and Lakshman it's probably mentioned here. I just forget where it is. I read this a while ago. Lakshman is the elder brother of. When he comes in Krishna's background, he becomes Balaram. But they're individual persons. You see, they use different costumes at different times, different dresses. Like when you went to the beach, do you dress up like this? Or you don't dress up? That's why you talk about it. Like we were in the beach a week ago, we were chanting and dancing in the beach, and I'm slanga. All these people are just dancing with whites and Africans and so many different people just dancing with us. But in different costumes. Yeah. So, yes, yeah.
I wanted to know about the Tulsi tree.
Tulsi.
The Tulsi Mata, she's the mother. When we trim her, can we trim her or let her grow? Or do we say a mantra before we trim? Or if it's too big, then when people are walking past, we touch on her. So that disturbs.
Yes, you can actually trim her. There is a mantra that you're supposed to chant, but I don't have the mantra with me. But you can chant the Hare Krishna mantra.
Okay. But are we supposed to trim her? Yes. Or let her
Yeah.
grow?
No, you can trim her.
The thing is, you see that at the top they have manjaris, like those. The manjaris, because all that energy of the plant goes into the manjaris. And if you leave the manjaris, all that energy it weakens the plant. So we cut the manjari and we offer it to Krishna. That like seedling kind of thing comes out. So yes, you can offer it to Krishna. Now to trim it, we don't cause pain to the to Tulsi Devi. And Tulsi Devi fulfills all desires. But if it's like really it's going everywhere, then maybe even Prabhupada didn't encourage us cutting them, I mean, I read that. He didn't want us to really cause pain, because when you cut a tree, you're causing pain to the tree. So you have to be careful, because therefore in our temple in Mumbai, we have a tree in the center of the temple. It's not cut, it's growing up. And even in Vrindavan, we have the tree, because Prabhupada didn't want the trees to be cut. So, but if it's like, what are you saying?
No, Srila suggested that they tie it back.
Huh?
Tie the Tulsi tree back.
Yeah.
Rather than trim her.
Oh yeah, the trimming part is like, you should avoid causing pain, that's what it is.
So can we get it together?
Yeah.
With a ribbon or something?
Yeah, you can do that.
So that's what I normally do.
Yeah. But you see, you must offer those, the Tulsi tree, you have to offer the leaves, you have to offer the manjaris. That's meant to be offered to Krishna. We don't just leave it on the tree.
If it's dry or green, you can offer.
Yeah, when it's younger, it's better to offer it. So when it's younger, I used to cut for Shuddhi Kirti all every morning at our temple, cut them and offer it to Giri Raj Govardhan every morning.
So you suggest it's better to just put a ribbon around it?
Yeah, anyway, to cause pain to any living entity is bad. And it's more especially to Tulsi Devi.
Yes.
Yeah. But lots of us have those basil, sometimes we think that's Tulsi Devi. But check whether you got basil now, It's a different, Tulsi Devi. You saw the plants in our temple, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
But I do have the Tulsi.
It's the same Tulsi Devi, just like that?
Yeah, I've got the white one.
Yeah, but have a look at it, I don't know. Perhaps check it out. Ram Tulsi. Yeah, sometimes people are worshipping Basil Devi. Yeah, but we have to check it out. We can't comment on it. Anyway, I think it's a bit late. I think we have to stop. So is it okay?
Yeah, Prabhu, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for listening nicely. So we're having a small short kirtan for 5 minutes.
Amaja got an announcement.
Oh,
Okay.
we can do it now.
Yeah. Can we have a round of applause for Prabhu? Thank you so much, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for Krishna Caitanya Prabhu.